Near the beginning of the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl, there is a set of events that culminate into one of the greatest questions ever asked on this channel. To put it simply, this guy, James Norrington, is promoted to Commodore and proposes to this woman, Elizabeth Swan. She is the daughter of the Governor of Port Royal, Weatherby Swan, and being the upper-class Englishwoman she is, she wears a corset for the event. Of course, this is a terrible idea in the hot and humid weather of the Caribbean. Her corset makes her faint, she falls into the sea, and a ruckus occurs. Meanwhile, down below, Captain Jack Sparrow, having just arrived in Port Royal to commandeer a ship, and is having some good old banter with two Navy soldiers when Elizabeth Swan falls into the water. One of the fuckers can't swim, and so Jack jumps in. Jack eventually saves her life, takes her onto a dock, yet she is still not breathing, so Jack whips out a knife and cuts her corset. She is saved. But it is immediately after this that the characters say,
I never would have thought of that.
Clearly you've never been to Singapore.
Thus, it raises the simple question, did Captain Jack Sparrow really go to Singapore? In short, no. And long, The Curse of the Black Pearl is a film that is set in the early 1700s, long before Singapore was a real place, hence Jack never went there. We know The Curse of the Black Pearl is set in the early 1700s because the opening scene shows Jack Sparrow saluting the skeleton of Jack Rackham, who was hanged on November 18, 1720, indicating that the scene must have taken place shortly after that date. The Sultan of Johor held the islands during this time, including the region that is today known as Singapore. The islands didn't begin to thrive and change to the Singapore we know today until the British East India Company arrived in 1819, and British statesman Sir Stamford Raffles founded a British trade base in Singapore. But there is no reason to rule out the likelihood that Jack visited Indonesia or engaged with Dutch missions in East Asia. Considering that the British East India Company at the time maintained business relations with East Asia, it's possible that Jack had some kind of affiliation with the group before turning to piracy. And so it seems that Jack Sparrow never travelled to Singapore. But of course it seems now that there is a slight chance that he could have travelled to the region. But of course we might never know, because Jack Sparrow is Jack Sparrow. It has been me, Jack, and if you're a pirate, please don't go to Singapore.